This story is about a thief who has been trapped in a millionaire's house in a bad way. When the water for drinking runs out in the house, the thief tries to survive by licking the ice from the fridge. In order to leave the house, he tries to find a way by breaking the roof of the house using makeshift tools, but his leg breaks due to the fall. Due to a technical error in the high-security house, the temperature drops significantly, so he gets frozen in the cold. His condition becomes so bad that he has to eat dog food. He shouts and screams to ask for help from people outside, but due to the house being soundproof and bulletproof, his screams get trapped inside the house. Friends, this story is going to be quite interesting, so stay tuned with us till the end, because by the end of the story, you'll find out what eventually happened with this thief. Did he manage to survive or did he get buried in the same house? The story begins with a thief named Nemo, who works for his boss. Today, he has a burglary job at a penthouse where he has to steal a valuable painting worth $3 million. As he enters the house, he realizes it's a lavish mansion filled with valuable paintings all around. Slowly, he starts putting all the paintings in his bag, but the painting he came to steal is still nowhere to be found. He informs his boss via walkie-talkie that he can't find the painting he came for, but his boss tells him to search properly because the painting is in the same house. However, even after searching for a long time, he still doesn't find the painting. So, he'll have to return with whatever he managed to find. To exit the house, his boss gives him a code, but at the last moment, the house's security system malfunctions. This triggers loud sirens to blare out. He asks his boss what's happening, but his boss tells him that he won't be able to do anything now. With nothing left in his hands, he'll have to find his way out of the house on his own. Now he's completely trapped inside the house and is thinking about how to get out. The loud sirens noise is causing him a lot of annoyance, so he starts by smashing it. After that, he goes over to the gate and tries to break it using a knife, but the gate is quite sturdy, so breaking it wasn't as easy as he thought. Just then, something goes wrong with the house's control device, and the indoor temperature starts rising gradually. Initially, the house had cool breezes, but now warm air starts coming in, making the house quite hot. After a little while, he becomes thirsty and his throat begins to feel dry. He heads to the kitchen and opens the tap, but there's no water. After that, he opens the fridge to find some food and drink, but there's only a single bottle of water, which he drinks in one go. After that, he tries to break the main gate again, but his heart shatters when he realizes that the gate isn't made of wood but rather of steel. So, leaving that task aside, he comes back inside and lies down on the bed. He attempts to sleep, but he can't fall asleep. He repeatedly tries to contact his boss, but his boss has already left, so there's no response from that end. The next morning, upon waking up, he checks the landline in the house, but it's disconnected. After that, he thoroughly searches the house but still doesn't find anything. Just then, he feels the need to use the restroom and goes to the bathroom. There, he finds some fake fruits. With their help, he tries to break the window pane, but the whole house is soundproof and bulletproof, so his efforts on the window have no effect. After a while, he becomes thirsty again, but he's already finished the water he had. Now he goes to the swimming pool and attempts to drink its water, but the pool water isn't drinkable. He feels like his body is emitting an unpleasant odor, so he uses the pool water to clean himself. Then, he tries to drink the water from an aquarium, but that isn't suitable for drinking either. Following this, he returns to the water tap, hoping to find something, but once again, he comes up empty-handed. Afterward, he starts feeling angry, getting quite irritated, but then an idea strikes his mind. He takes out the ice from the fridge and licks it to quench his thirst. This provides him some relief, but he starts thinking about what he'll do when the fridge's ice runs out. In the midst of this, he considers that if he somehow manages to reach the roof of the house, he could call for help from there. So, he gathers all the items in the house and stands on a furniture table, attempting to reach the roof. However, due to the height of the roof, he's unable to make it there. After that, he goes back to the house control system to check if he can adjust the temperature, hoping it would become comfortable, but once again, his attempt fails. Now he starts feeling hungry, so he tries to open a food packet, but he hurts his hand while opening it, causing his hand to bleed. Following this, he returns to the kitchen and opens the fridge, but the ice in the fridge has melted, so he tries to lick whatever little ice is left to quench his thirst. Now we see that it's raining outside, but unfortunately, he can neither go outside nor drink the rainwater. He's left with no options, so he sits down in despair and begins to explore the house. Suddenly, he hears the sound of water coming from somewhere. He goes there and finds that water is dripping from a plant shower. Seeing this, he becomes quite happy and drinks water to his heart's content. But after a while, the water stops dripping, and he's forced to leave that spot. Now, slowly, the temperature inside the house starts increasing. So, he removes all his clothes and gathers the furniture to try and reach the roof. This time, he succeeds in doing so, but upon inspecting the interior, he realizes it's quite strongly constructed, requiring a screwdriver to open. After coming down, his attention falls on a television in a nearby house, where he sees on CCTV footage that a maid is sweeping outside. He quickly puts on some clothes, goes to the gate, and tries to make a noise to get her attention. However, she had headphones on, so his voice doesn't reach her. Besides, the house is soundproof, leaving no chance for the sound to escape. With no option left, he sits down in frustration. Following this, the house control system malfunctions again, and this time, instead of heat, cool breezes start flowing in, gradually making the house cooler. Initially, he enjoys the coolness by taking a swim in the swimming pool. After that, he collects water from the plant shower to drink and has breakfast. He's been consistently attempting to leave from here, so he breaks a jar and crafts a makeshift glass from its shards. Wearing it, he once again approaches the roof and tries to break the interior. However, the interior and concrete were of high quality, making it quite challenging for him to break through. This house belonged to a millionaire, so its security was top-notch. After that, he prepares coffee and pasta for breakfast using cold water. Then, he sits in front of the TV and watches people coming and going in the CCTV footage. Due to being away from people for quite a few days, his mental state deteriorates a bit, and he starts engaging in peculiar activities around the house. As the temperature gradually decreases, he begins to feel that if the temperature keeps dropping, the environment might become akin to snowfall after some time. Once again, he goes up to break the roof, but this time, instead of the interior, he breaks the concrete and manages to break it to a certain extent. The cold keeps intensifying, so he returns to try fixing the device, but he can't quite figure out how the device operates. After that, he goes back upstairs to attempt breaking the concrete again, but he notices that there is a coating of metal underneath, tightly secured with a screw that he can't easily break. Feeling defeated, he returns downstairs. Just then, he notices a pigeon sitting outside. He instructs the pigeon to find his brother and inform him that he's stuck here and needs to be rescued. Little did he know that the pigeon's wings were injured, and it was unable to fly. Due to spending days alone, his mental state starts to deteriorate alongside his physical health. Consequently, he begins to engage in strange activities around the house, including breaking valuable paintings. Later, he goes to the millionaire's wardrobe and checks inside, finding various clothes. Since the temperature has dropped significantly, he takes out some clothes and wears them. When he examines behind the wardrobe, he discovers a secret door. He assumes it might lead to an exit. As he follows the path, he comes across a secret room containing the body of an old man, which he initially mistakes for a real body. Upon closer inspection, he realizes it's a mannequin. Underneath it is a box containing ancient history-related papers. While he doesn't understand the papers, he finds a painting inside the box. This was the very painting he had come to steal, and the mannequin's body belonged to the owner of the house. Now this painting holds no value to him, so he comes outside to find the pigeon dead. He contemplates that his fate is likely to take a similar turn. When he watches the TV, he sees on the CCTV that the maid is sitting by his door. He rushes to the door and starts hitting it vigorously, but due to the soundproofing, his cries are inaudible outside. Frustrated, he gives up and falls asleep. Returning to the window, he constructs a makeshift tool from wood to unscrew the window, but his attempt fails again. Undeterred, he tries once more and manages to unscrew the window this time. However, inside there were more screws, making him lose the courage to remove all of them. So, he returns downstairs. By now, a significant change has occurred in his nature. He starts talking to himself since he has no food or drink left. He shakes the potted plants, hoping to find something to eat, but it's futile. Starvation can drive a person to do anything, so he resorts to eating dog food. Struggling with extreme cold and hunger, he becomes increasingly desperate to escape. He attempts to unscrew each screw one by one, but this time his foot slips and he falls down, fracturing his leg bone due to the fall. Now a few more days pass by in the same manner, and New Year arrives. He observes from inside how people outside are celebrating. At that moment, he thinks that the maid might have come to him and released him. But this is just a delusion because it's not the reality. His gaze falls on a fire alarm above. He gets an idea that if he somehow activates that fire alarm, he can use the water for drinking. The next day, he sets fire to the house using sunlight and takes the fire alarm with him, activating it. Due to the fire alarm, the sprinkler system in the house turns on, and water starts pouring in from all sides. But once again, no one outside is aware of what's happening inside. Now he feels regret. He thinks that being poor was better. He realizes that wealthy people are quite selfish. They don't even care about their neighbors. The scene transitions to a few days later, where Nemo has become quite weak. Snow is falling outside, indicating the arrival of winter. He has now unscrewed all the screws from the window and is about to leave the house. But before leaving, he writes something on the wall, addressing the house owner. He confesses to destroying the entire house and asks for forgiveness. He tells the owner that this is not a house but a jail. Now we see that Nemo had completely opened that window, so after a while, he manages to escape from there. It's worth mentioning that after getting out of that window, there's no place around him from which he could exit. If he tried jumping from there, he most likely would have lost his life, or maybe he sought help from someone, and that's how he managed to come out alive. What do you think? Let me know in the comments.